Welcome to I Love Asian Dramas. The title of this Korean fantasy romantic comedy drama is My Love from the Star, from SBS with 21 episodes. The series begins with the arrival of an alien spaceship on planet Earth. Minjoon is an alien who landed on Earth during the Joseon period. Minjoon saves a young girl from falling off the cliff. You see that Minjoon's capabilities are 7 times higher than those of humans, and Minjoon can also stop time. On the other hand, Songyi, a top female Korean superstar, caused a stir online by posting a misinterpretation. Soon after, at the elevator, Songyi rudely speaks to Minjoon because she thinks Minjoon is one of her perverted types of stalkers. Surprisingly, it turned out he was her neighbor. On a separate note, Minjoon, Songyi's mother, called. Minjoon is asking for money and informing Songyi to call her brother because he hasn't returned home. At night, Minjoon was disturbed by a loud noise. Then, Minjoon confronted Songyi. However, Minjoon just understands it and lets it go. On a different occasion, Jaekyung, a rich and handsome man who likes Songyi, wants to surprise Songyi with his arrival from abroad. But Songyi was not surprised. Instead, Jaekyung offered to send Songyi to her school. Shortly, Songyi was surprised and worried that Minjoon was his professor. On a separate note, Mr. Jang, Minjoon's lawyer and a father figure, was a little sad. Minjoon told Mr. Jang to process his death certificate because he's going home in 3 months. In the past, Minjoon was left on Earth because he helped a girl. On the other hand, Jaekyung proposed to Songyi but declined. Jaekyung asked her why. Songyi replied that she was curious about the man who saved her before. Meanwhile, Minjoon stops helping humans in need. Based on his experience, it is pointless to help humans because what is bound to happen will happen. On a separate note, Yoora is an actress and Songyi's competition. Yoora was annoyed at Songyi because Songyi took the documentary drama, which Yoora likes. In the next scene, Songyi confused propofol with propolis vitamins in front of the camera. Shortly, in the classroom, Songyi was embarrassed. Minjoon told Songyi in front of the class that Songyi's essay was plagiarized. On another occasion, Baekya, Songyi's middle school friend, comforted the upset Songyi. Meanwhile, Minjoon was relaxing but disturbed by the drunk Songyi. Songyi tries to open Minjoon's door, thinking it is her place. Shortly, Jaekyung was worried and took Songyi back to his apartment. After some time, Minjoon was surprised by the photo of a girl in Songyi's wallet. On a different note, Yoora and Songyi quarreled at the salon. Fortunately, it was stopped by Minjoon. At that time, Minjoon asked Songyi who was the girl in the picture because he wanted to confirm it. Minjoon realized that the girl he saved in the past just looked like Songyi. Shortly, Minjoon asked about Songyi's shoes because Minjoon had this vision before that someone fell into the water wearing those kinds of shoes. Then Songyi replied to Minjoon that it was hers. A little later, Minjoon heard Songyi in pain. Minjoon tried to ignore it but ended up taking Songyi to the hospital. Meanwhile, at the hospital, Songyi told the hospital staff that Minjoon was her manager to avoid scandal. After some time, Songyi asked Minjoon if the girl who looked like her was his first love. However, Minjoon replied that she was someone he was sorry for. Later, while reading the newspaper, Minjoon told Songyi not to ride a boat and to be careful on the waters. Songyi told Minjoon that she does not believe in horoscopes and sleeps. Soon after, Jaekyung and Usemi, an actress and Songyi's friend, visited Songyi at the hospital. Later, Yoon, a handsome younger brother of Songyi, was worried and also visited his sister, but ended up leaving sooner because of their mother's actions. After some time, Songyi asks Minjoon about her shoes, but Minjoon denies it. Minjoon only wants to protect Songyi. On a separate note, Jaekyung is Jaekyung's older brother and Yura's boyfriend. Jaekyung and Yoora are having dinner at a restaurant. On a different occasion, at the salon, Songyi and Yoora are arguing again. Yoora shouted that either she would kill herself or she would kill Songyi. Subsequently, Minjoon saw the news that Songyi went on a ship wearing the same shoes he saw in his vision. On the other hand, in the past, the girl brought Minjoon to her parents in gratitude for saving her life. Unfortunately, the parents tried to kill them both because it's a disgrace when a girl brings a man who is not his husband home. The girl's father weighs the family's reputation more compared to his daughter's life. Moving on at present, in the bride's lounge, Songyi and Yoora started competing with each other by showing off to the camera who looked better. Later, Simi saw Songyi, but when the ship tilted, Songyi disappeared. Not long after, the actress Yoora was found dead at the Han River. Because of this, Songyi was accused of being the reason for her death. Shortly, Songyi's manager called, informing her to run from her apartment because the media men were coming. Fortunately, Songyi entered Minjoon's apartment before the media man arrived. After a while, Songyi enters a room full of antique collections. Due to this, Minjoon told Songyi to get out, but Songyi replied that he would be known to the public as her secret boyfriend. Minjoon ended up letting Songyi stay, provided she must not touch his things. A little later, Minjoon asked Songyi if she was the cause of Yura's death. Songyi replied that she was not. Songyi cried because Yoora was just 30 years old, and she is not the type to kill herself because she hates her. Songyi told Minjoon that Yoora bragged to her that she was getting married. At that time, Songyi asked Minjoon if he had gone there that night because she thought she saw him. Songyi thinks it was a dream, but it was not. A little later, Songyi told Minjoon that she's very happy every time she looks at her billboard hanging at the most expensive location in the city. Shortly, Mr. Jang saw Minjoon and Songyi fighting on the couch. Mr. Jang felt awkward but ended up eating together. On a different occasion, Minjoon saw Songyi's favorite billboard removed and observed that the reporters were gone. Soon after, Songyi's manager called, informing Songyi that Youra's sister found a suicide note and that Songyi might be blamed for Youra's death. This made Songyi angry because she knew that she was not the cause. On a different note, Songyi quit and rejected all her projects because she knew the prejudices of the people. In the next scene, Minjoon suddenly runs from the police car and teleports to his apartment. Minjoon was very worried about the shady Jaekyung visiting Songyi. Unfortunately, Minjoon was held by the security guard for his identity check. Moments later, Minjoon confirmed that Songyi was safe. On the other hand, Simi turns out to be a fake friend of Songyi. Simi lied about her role in the drama that Songyi was being replaced by. After a while, Songyi couldn't get out of her car because of the reporters outside. Fortunately, Minjoon was there to help her. Meanwhile, Simi went to her brother's bedroom. Simi saw a picture of Minjoon. Then, Simi recalls the man who saved Songyi. On a separate note, in the past, the girl and Minjoon were chased. Minjoon tried to use his power but couldn't in the end because he was poisoned. As a result, the girl saves Minjoon and dies. Back at present, Jaekyung proposed again to Songyi. However, from afar, Minjoon stops the time because he doesn't want to hear Songyi's answer to Jaekyung. After some time, Minjoon was happy when he heard that Songyi declined Jaekyung's proposal. At that time, Songyi introduces Minjoon to her mom and younger brother as the new manager. On a separate note, Minjoon was called by the police and prosecutor. The police and prosecutor saw the CCTV footage, indicating that Minjoon was there. However, Minjoon had the perfect alibi that he was at home that night. Minjoon suggested to the police and prosecutor that they check the CCTV footage in his apartment. On a different occasion, Songyi and Simi had an honest conversation. Simi told Songyi that she never thinks of Songyi as her friend. Songyi told Simi that the advantage of hitting the rock bottom is that you can sort out the real from the camouflage type of person. Soon after, Songyi was in a dangerous situation. Fortunately, Minjoon arrives on time and saves Songyi from falling off the cliff. A little later, Jaekyung went to pick up Songyi. Shortly, it turns out the man behind the attempted murder of Songyi is Jaekyung. Later, upon arrival at home, Songyi was shocked that her apartment was in a mess. When Minjoon heard Songyi's scream, he immediately went to Songyi's apartment. This time, Minjoon offered Songyi to stay at his home to ensure her safety. Later on, Songyi told Minjoon that she's sorry for being beautiful, which might make his heart flutter. Minjoon told Songyi not to worry because she's just like a beautiful pottery, a dog, and a tree that won't make his heart flutter. This made Songyi feel annoyed. On a different occasion, Songyi saw his shoes in Minjoon's cabinet. Because of this, Songyi thought Minjoon was gay. Afterwards, Songyi wanted to do the house chores, but ended up breaking the priceless antique plates and pottery. On a separate note, the police and prosecutor had a new lead on Youra's death. They found out that the will of Yoora might be from the Death Expo, and the real murderer used it to make it look like a suicide. On the other hand, Jaekyung encourages Simi to call the man she likes, and it turns out that Simi calls him. As a result, Jaekyung was surprised. Meanwhile, Songyi went to see a psychiatrist because of the unusual things that happened between her and Minjoon. On another occasion, Songyi is known as a 15-second fairy. This means that she can capture the heart of any man within 15 seconds. Then, she challenges herself to Minjoon. And yes, it did work. After a few hours, Minjoon became sick. Songyi wanted to take care of Minjoon, but he didn't like it. On a separate note, Jaekyung threatened Minjoon to give the USB to him, or else Songyi and Minjoon would be in danger. Minjoon replied not to harm Songyi in any way, because if he does, he will tell the world who he really is, and he is someone he can never kill. On the other hand, Jaekyung told Simi that he just wanted to remain friends with her, and Simi had no option but to accept it. At that moment, Simi gives the photo to Jaekyung of the man who saved Songyi 12 years ago. They were confused because they noticed that Minjon's appearance did not change at all. Later, Jaekyung asked Minjon if he was the man who saved Songyi 12 years ago because he wanted to confirm it. However, Minjon denies it and walks away. Shortly, Songyi asked Minjon about the strange things that happened, but Minjon denied them to keep his true identity hidden. On a separate note, Songyi is financially broke. So, in order to cover her living expenses, she started selling her luxury bags online. Later, Songyi dresses up prettily to get the kimchi box from Minjon, but Songyi's real intention is that she wants to be with him because she likes Minjon. Afterwards, Songyi takes the courage to reveal her true feelings to Minjon. Songyi told Minjon that she keeps thinking of him. On the other hand, Jaekyung tries to kill Minjon. However, Minjon uses his power and disappears. On a separate note, Songyi enters Minjon's apartment. She noticed that there was a man hiding behind the chair. Feeling scared, Songyi immediately went back to her apartment. On a different occasion, Minjon told Songyi that he didn't like her and to get out of his sight. Due to this, Songyi walks away crying. Fortunately, Jaekyung was there to support Songyi. In the morning, Songyi remembers the embarrassing moment she had last night when she was drunk. Meanwhile, Simi visited Songyi at her apartment. Simi told Songyi that the man who saved her 12 years ago was just right next to her. Because of this, Songyi was puzzled. On a different note, Minjon was hit by a car on the street because his power did not work this time. Shortly, Songyi saw Minjon covered in blood. She wanted to take him to the hospital, but Minjon opposed the idea. A little later, Mr. Jang told Songyi that it is better to stay away from his son because they will be leaving in 2 months. On a separate note, Songyi's mother told Jaekyung that his brother made a management agency exclusive for Songyi and that she was grateful for it. On the other hand, Jaekyung remembers that Minjon warned him to protect Songyi from his brother. Because of this, Jaekyung started to doubt his own brother. Meanwhile, after some rest, Minjon recovers from his injuries. On a different note, it turns out that Jaekyung put medicine in Yura's drink, which causes paralysis. Then, Jaekyung's right-hand man pushed Yoora into the water, leading to her death. After some time, Minjon made a deal with Jaekyung. Minjon will take all the blame in exchange for Jaekyung stopping all his wrongdoing. On another occasion, Songyi was very excited when Minjon called her to meet up. Minjon decided to reveal his true identity to Songyi, saying that he was an alien. As a result, Songyi was shocked and couldn't believe what was happening. Then Songyi realizes that it was really Minjon who saved her from different dangerous situations. On a different occasion, Songyi asked Minjon if he ever liked her for who she was. Minjon answered with a lie, saying that he never liked her. As a result, Songyi went through a process of grief. Meanwhile, Jaekyung bought Minjon's apartment. When Minjon knew that the beer was Jaekyung, he cancelled the sale because he was jealous. In the next scene, Songyi was cast in an action movie. Unfortunately, Jaekyung's men sabotaged the pulley to purposely harm Songyi. On the other hand, Minjon went to the prosecutor and police to accept all the blame because he needed to keep his word to Jaekyung in order to protect Songyi. On the movie set, Jaekyung surprises Songyi with a food truck. As a result, Simi was jealous. Soon after, Songyi fell on set and was in critical condition. Songyi needed a blood donation for her surgery. Fortunately, Songyi's father appeared and donated his blood at the prosecutor's office. Minjon suddenly disappeared because he knew that Songyi was in a critical condition. Because of this, the prosecutor and the police doubted his true identity. They checked the CCTV footage and were flustered by what they saw on the recording. From afar, Minjon was very angry, looking at Songyi's injuries. Shortly, Minjon attacks Jaekyung for not keeping his word. Fortunately, Minjon did not kill Jaekyung. After several years of separation, Songyi was glad to see her father. On the other hand, Minjon told the police and prosecutor about his true identity. Minjon did this so that they would believe him that Jaekyung was the cause behind Yora's death. Meanwhile, Songyi was worried that she would become an old woman, while Minjon was still handsome and young-looking. Because of this, Songyi did all sorts of things to keep her young. On a different occasion, the director bullied Songyi by repeating the same scene several times. However, Minjon was worried about Songyi's physical condition. Then, Minjon uses his ability to punish the director for bullying Songyi. Later, Songyi planned their future. But Minjon was sad because he had to go home. At that time, Songyi asked Minjon how long he would be gone. But Minjon couldn't answer Songyi, As a result, Songyi walks out and cries. After some time, Songyi apologizes to Minjoon, saying that she was overreacting. Also, she decided to spend the remaining time with Minjoon before his departure. Then, the couple went somewhere nice. Shortly after, Songyi was feeling anxious when she noticed that Minjoon was gone. She thought that Minjoon was leaving her without saying goodbye. However, Minjoon appears and comforts her by saying he won't leave her anymore, and this makes Songyi happy. On another occasion, Minjoon told Mr. Jang that he was not going home. Mr. Jang was worried about Minjoon's health. On a separate note, Jaekyung found out through a recording pen that Jaekyung killed their eldest brother. This incident will make Jaekyung lose respect for his brother. After some time, Songyi was reading Minjoon's diary. Then she found out that Minjoon would die if he couldn't return home. Subsequently, Jaekyung's murder of several people is now known to the public. Meanwhile, in a far more beautiful place, Songyi allowed Minjoon to return home because of her love for him. Soon after, Minjoon proposed to Songyi, and she was perfectly happy with the proposal. Then, Songyi told Minjoon to go where he came from, because Songyi preferred Minjoon to be alive somewhere rather than dead. On the other hand, Jaekyung was in prison. Because of this, Yura's death was resolved. As a result, Songyi's popularity soared, and projects are rising. After a while, Minjoon's body starts to become weak, and his abilities are fading. Later, in preparation for Minjoon's nearing departure, Songyi prepared a proposal video for him to watch whenever he misses her. Not long after, Minjoon is saying his goodbyes to Songyi. On a different occasion, Jaekyung's father visited him in prison. The chairman told Jaekyung that he was not going to help him out of prison because he knew that Jaekyung had killed his own brother. Meanwhile, after the disappearance of Minjoon, Songyi tries to cope with her sadness by revisiting the places she went with Minjoon. Later on, there were several occasions that Minjoon visited Songyi in a short period of time. Because Minjoon is in the process of improving his teleportation ability, and the series ends with Songyi being happy for those precious moments with Minjoon. Finally, I will be very happy if you can subscribe to the I Love Asian Dramas channel. Thank you for watching.